Live from WLNS TV, this is 6 News at 6.
But it's my fault my son's dead. It's no one else's but mine. I was the parent on duty, and I failed my son.
Gut-wrenching words spoken by a mother who is still grieving, heartbroken over the loss of her 3-year-old son, who died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's been nearly 4 years since that tragic day, and for the first time, Melissa Easter and her husband Mark speak publicly about their painful ordeal, and they hope that by sharing their devastating story, you'll understand why it can happen to anyone.
You know, like I said, there's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think about them. Not an hour that doesn't go by that I don't think about them.
The pain is so real for Mark and Melissa Easter. They live their lives hour by hour waiting for the heartache to end, knowing it never will. Their youngest child, Michael, was just 3 years old when the unthinkable happened. It's a day that changed their lives forever.
I noticed Michael wasn't in here, and as I was walking around the corner, I heard the gunshot. I honestly first thought it hit me. I don't know why. I just remember my chest just hurt. I think it was my heart dropping of, oh my God. And then I immediately ran into the room because I saw him on the floor. Actually, I saw him fall, and I tried to do everything I could. And I remember thinking in my head, at the same time, I've got to be a mom, and I slammed the door shut. And the girls are trying to get in. I'm like, no, call your dad, get my cell phone.
I was 2 minutes down the road. You know, I turned around and came back, you know, to find that, you know. And like I said, our daughter was coming off the porch afraid that I was going to kill myself because, you know, her brother just died.
Mark's loaded gun sat on top of a tall bedroom dresser. How Michael got it is unclear, but the gun went off, ending the curious 3-year-old's life, completely shattering this family's world.
I lost my son, and what more could you do to me, you know, than that? There's no worse punishment, you know, than that. We beat ourselves up, you know. There isn't a day that doesn't go by. There isn't an hour that doesn't go by that I don't think about him. And instead of spending birthdays at, you know, somewhere at a Chuck E. Cheese or a friend's house or having parties, we'll be going to the cemetery tomorrow. You know, that's how we celebrate our son's birthday. You know, for a 3-minute mistake, you know, that cost us everything.
Both Mark and Melissa wish every day that they could turn back the hands of time to reverse this tragedy. And what makes the reality even more difficult is that Mark Easter is also Deputy Easter, a 17-year veteran of the Jackson County Sheriff's Department.
I have other law enforcement friends that says, you know, by the grace of God, you know, it wasn't me. It could have easily been me at any time.
So even with the father as a deputy and Michael wanting to follow in his father's footsteps, it wasn't enough to keep him out of harm's way.
You can ask a child. Every child knows if you have a gun, especially little boys, they know they're there, and
hiding them and putting them up high or anything else like that isn't.
It's a ticking time bomb.
The Easter family is not alone in this tragedy. According to the Associated Press, statistics tracked by the Gun Violence Archive from 2014 through June of this year show accidental shootings involving minors spike near the age of 3 and then again between 15 and 16. These accidental shootings seem to happen when a kid finds an unsecured gun at home, like Michael did, and in a matter of minutes, a mother's hopes and dreams for her son are lost forever.
It was just so quick, and that's how it is in life. It's quick, you know, and now I get to live with that the rest of my life, and, you know, I always just, it hurts.
Days after Michael was killed, Mark Easter says as a way to protect his family and prevent something like this from ever happening again, he bought a gun safe.
You know, when I went to pay for it, I knew that $100 for the safe that it cost me, you know, I could have prevented my sons from dying, and that will haunt me. That's a cross that I got to bear. You know, I always thought the threat was going to come from outside, inside, and not from inside out, you know, and, you know, it is. The threat is in your home.
And now this family speaks of time as either before Michael or after Michael.
It's been almost 4 years, and it doesn't get any easier. But it was something so simple that could have saved his life.
We think it's important enough, you know, to tell people our story that, listen, it doesn't take long, you know, it can happen in a blink of a minute. It will shatter your life. Your life will never be the same, and it could easily be avoidable.
As Melissa and Mark wipe away their tears, they realize how a matter of seconds has left them to endure a lifetime of heartache.
Trade my place in a heartbeat. You know, if I could bring my son back right now, you know, even for a minute, you know, you see those Facebook posts, you know, what would you do or who would you talk to on a park bench if you had 5 more minutes? And I'd just like to hug them and tell them I love them. I know. And I'm sorry.
I know, it's a tough one. You know, we're very sorry for the Easter family's loss, and we really appreciate their bravery for sharing their story with us. And I know that stories are really hard to hear, stories like this one, but these types of tragedies, they're preventable if people store their guns responsibly. Right. It just takes just a few seconds to unload a gun and then secure it with a gun lock, like this one.
Right.
And if you put this on an empty gun, Jane, that gun will not fire.
Isn't that amazing? Okay.